What about rivers that flow uphill, like the Nile and Mississippi River? What about sundials, which I dare anyone to put a sundial on a globe and see if they get the appropriate shadows. I guarantee, without a doubt, you will not get the appropriate shadows. Only on a flat earth can a sundial work. Let's look at this video clip. We also have to look at the visibility of distant objects, which is impossible on a globe. For example, the Chicago skyline can be seen clearly. Here's a picture taken by Joshua Nowicki as he stood at Grandmere Park, Michigan, which is approximately 57 miles across from Lake Michigan. We have other places such as St. Botolph's Parish Church in Boston, which is 290 feet tall and visible for 40 miles, but it should be hidden under an 800 feet curvature. The Cape of Lagula of South Africa is 238 feet high and visible for 50 miles, where it should be below 1,400 feet of curvature if the Earth was really a ball. If the Earth was truly a globe, we would see curved clouds at the horizon. We would see the bottoms of planes coming up from the horizon. Water would also have to show some curvature, but the reality is we see no convexity, only a perfectly leveled water. There are over 200 proofs that the Earth is flat, and unfortunately, I won't be going over each one. But I want to close this section with an interview of a missile expert admitting the Earth is flat and missiles do not account for any curvature.
Our fire control radar, we actually use a 2-degree pencil beam. It's a very, very tight beam, so there's very little room for deviation on that, and it's a direct line of sight radar.
Okay.
And we're able to track targets up to 50 nautical miles away, and on a curved Earth, that just doesn't add up.
Followed the Chicago skyline.
I have 60 miles away across Lake Michigan. Yep, they can see the whole city.
There you go. So this is collaborating that, which he's saying he can track targets at 50 miles away, which should be about 1,700 if you round up, 1,700 feet below the horizon. But you're hitting them just fine.
Wow. We're tracking them just fine, and it just doesn't add up. You know, you can do simple trigonometry on it with elevation angle, and everything works out. You don't drop the track. You can track it quite a bit of a distance out.
We're talking about line of sight targeting or GPS for the projectile, for the missile.
For the missile, it's line of sight targeting. That's basically, like I said earlier, we track the target with a illuminator, and it's basically just another piece of gear that's tied into ours. And once we lock up on the target, we're line of sight pointing straight at it because It's a 2-degree pencil beam. It has to be pointing straight at it, because if it's not going to see it. It's not a search radar. It's a fire control radar. If you're supposedly looking at something, 50 nautical miles away around a huge curve, it's just you can't punch through the ocean with RF.
But the point is that the 2-inch beam, you have to have it on there for most of the trip. That thing's
Not
out
most,
there.
all of it, pretty much.
Okay, all the trip except for the last couple seconds, if that. You can pull it off if you had to.
If you absolutely had to, but you have to understand, if it's not close enough, if you pull it off, the missile will go ballistic on its last update, and it might not hit the target.
Got it. And so if what you're basically saying is this 2-inch beam, what you're painting the target with, is you guys when you're firing this thing out there, you do not account for curvature. That beam shouldn't be able to reach a target at whatever the at 50 miles, should not be able to hit that target.
Yeah, and this is a perfect thing, and I'm really glad that I was fortunate enough to work on this, because the argument always is, well, we can reach over a curve because we're a search radar and we use atmospherics and bounce off different parts of the atmosphere, and then it comes back down. Okay. Now, see, the problem with that is this can't happen with a 2-degree pencil beam. The angle of this cannot put RF up into an atmosphere and then bounce it back down and then expect to get it back so we can properly track.
It's too precise.
Too precise.
Yeah.
It's too precise. It can't do that.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, for those people that are religious, I'm assuming that you've read the Bible.